6 at noon.
Now at noon, the funding that needs approval to keep a vital travel option in Volusia County. First, though, the man accused of raping and killing 13-year-old Madeline Soto will go before a judge in less than 90 minutes. The first of two trials for Stephan Sterns was supposed to start tomorrow with jury selection, but late Friday, his lawyers announced he wants to enter a new plea. Now, he originally pled not guilty to his charges. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest has been following this story since the very beginning. He joins us now live outside the Osceola County Courthouse, where Sterns will soon appear in court. Mike?
Hey, Justin, yeah, this is that notice you were talking about that Sterns filed late Friday. Very unexpected. I think everybody knew there's always a possibility before a trial there was going to be a plea deal or some kind of plea reached. Well, this is it. Late Friday, Stephan Sterns told the judge he plans to be in an Osceola County courtroom today at 1:30 to enter a new plea. Now, Sterns had previously pleaded not guilty to raping and murdering 13-year-old Madeline Soto, who was the daughter of Sterns' former girlfriend. The 39-year-old originally told detectives he dropped the teen off at Hunters Creek Middle School last year, but she never made it to class. Authorities later found Soto's body in a wooded area near St. Cloud. Investigators say she had been strangled to death following years of sexual abuse by Sterns. Prosecutors announced they'd be seeking the death penalty for Sterns when he was scheduled to go on trial for murder later this year. But first, prosecutors were planning to try Sterns for sex crimes in a totally separate trial that was supposed to begin tomorrow. Now, less than 24 hours before jury selection is scheduled to begin in that sexual battery case, Sterns has announced he'll be entering a new plea in both cases. Now, prosecutors and Sterns' public defender have not yet publicly disclosed any details of a possible plea agreement or what they may be talking about in court today, including any possible sentence. However, sources tell me that if the judge does accept Sterns' plea this afternoon, then this case will immediately go to the sentencing phase. Sometimes sentencing happens weeks or months later, but in this case, there are parties ready for sentencing to take place today, including, I'm told, some family and friends of the victim, Madeline Soto, who are prepared to give victim impact statements in court today. Again, that hearing starts at 1:30. We'll be streaming it live on clickorlando.com. For now, we are live at the Osceola County Courthouse. Mike DeForest, News 6. Back to you, Justin.
Thank you for the latest on that, Mike. We appreciate it. Breaking news now. Investigators in Brevard County confirmed that they have found the car tied to a hit and run earlier this month. It's a 2004 gold Honda Accord. You can see it right here. Investigators say whoever was driving it hit a 55-year-old woman who was walking down the street and then left her there injured. This happened off Arabella Lane and Barclay Drive in Port St. John. That woman was taken to the hospital. Her neighbor told News 6 she broke her foot and fractured her neck. FHP says that they're still trying to figure out who was driving at the time of the crash. When we get an update on this, we'll bring it to you both on air and online. A Eustis father is now in jail after his 5-year-old accidentally shot himself in the head. Dexter Neal turned himself in over the weekend, charged with neglect of a child and culpable negligence. It comes after police say his 5-year-old son got a hold of a gun late last month and shot himself in the head. The child was taken to Arnold Palmer Hospital for Children, and Eustis police say he is currently recovering at a rehab facility. Neal is being held without bond, pending an appearance in front of a judge. In Seminole County, a family is recovering after a fire engulfed their home early this morning. This is video from that scene. The fire broke out around 6:15 this morning off South Beardall Avenue in Sanford. While the family made it out, we're told a bird and a dog did not.
They lost, it's a full loss of the structure, but their lives are still here, so that's the most important.
The cause of the fire remains under investigation. The fire marshal added that the family only had one smoke alarm in the home and it did not go off. Officials are reminding residents to check their smoke alarms at least once a month and replace the batteries each year. We're working to learn more after a man drowned over the weekend in the Waterford Lakes community of Orange County. It happened off Fairway Point Circle, that's south of the 408. Investigators say a 50-year-old man was swimming with his family when he went under and did not come back up. A friend took the man out of the pool, tried to perform CPR. The man was rushed to the hospital but didn't make it. A spending plan is being reviewed tomorrow in Volusia County, and part of the talks center around keeping Sunrail in the county on the track. Our Volusia County community correspondent Angie Casada spoke to neighbors who want to see the commuter rail system continue.
Tuesday's budget presentation includes a flat tax rate, but that also makes room for some major investments. One of them being over $1 million to keep Sunrail running. And for riders like Janice from Daytona Beach, that support makes all the difference. Volusia County is eyeing more than $1 million to pay for Sunrail next year.
What I like about the train travel, Sunrail in particular, is they took the stress out of travel. When you get on the platform, you have a gentleman there helping you. It could be a lady too, but it just happened to be this time and last time a gentleman, and he helps you through the kiosk thing, and that took some stress out of it.
It's part of a larger $1.7 billion spending plan that the county will review during Tuesday's meeting.
I've been following this since we moved down here in 2002. We have a lot of old people in the state. We have no real business doing this long distance stuff on the highways.
Oh, yeah.
And these rail connections are vital. The Bright Line, the Sunrail. So I'm thrilled with this. I imagine it's good for the business owners over in Winter Park. Also brings in more people, more traffic.
The county is also expected to appropriate nearly $134 million in federal disaster recovery funds, along with grant money for housing, infrastructure, and new judicial facilities. Anyone who wants to speak must fill out a participation slip before consent items are pulled from the agenda.
Let's do it. Let's get them. It's worth the money. It's going to be worth the money not to have people driving in and wearing out the roads, getting into accidents. This is going to save in ways expected and unexpected.
Again, Tuesday's meeting starts at 4 in the afternoon at the County Admin Building right here in DeLand. I'm your Volusia County Community Correspondent Angie Casada, News 6.
A man accused of driving 155 miles an hour down I-4 is now facing charges under Florida's new super speeder law. Troopers say they spotted 20-year-old Octavius Hunt Jr. flying through the express lanes in Altamont Springs early Sunday morning. They say he was going nearly 100 miles an hour over the speed limit and had 3 others in the car with him. Hunt was arrested as soon as FHP pulled him over, and his car was impounded for 30 days. Under the new law, super speeders can face jail time, fines, and even lose their license if they're a repeat offender. President Trump's approval rating is sliding. That's according to a new CBS poll. It comes as the president marks 6 months back in office. CBS's Natalie Brand has the latest from Washington.
So help me God. So help me God.
As President Trump marks 6 months since returning to office, new CBS News polling finds his overall approval rate has dipped to 42%, down more than 10 points since February.
What you see in this dynamic is increasingly a base that really likes what it sees and everybody else with growing doubts.
The polling shows growing doubts over deportations, with more Americans saying the administration is prioritizing people who are not dangerous criminals, and more than half saying the administration is trying to deport more people than they expected. CBS News spoke to acting ICE Director Todd Lyons, who confirmed anyone in the country illegally could be taken into custody.
ICE is always focused on the worst of the worst.
If your agents encounter anyone who is here illegally, irrespective of whether or not they have a criminal record, that person will be taken into custody.
If they're here in the United States illegally, yes, they will.
The economy has been a strong point for President Trump in past polling, but in this latest survey, respondents indicated they want more focus on lowering prices and less on tariffs. The poll shows 60% oppose new tariffs on imported goods as the president's August 1st trade deal deadline fast approaches. Face the Nation's Margaret Brennan asked Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick about the public sentiment.
Oh, they're going to love the deals that President Trump and I are doing. I mean, they're just going to love them. You know, the president figured out the right answer and sent letters to these countries, said this is going to fix the trade deficit.
The new poll found bipartisan dissatisfaction with the administration's handling of the Jeffrey Epstein case, including almost half of Republicans, even though Epstein did not factor as a top issue compared to immigration and inflation. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Right now in Daytona Beach, the final steel beam is being installed to complete the structural framework for the new state-of-the-art facility at Jackie Robinson Ballpark. Here's some video from when construction began last year. They're expected to have this finished by early 2026. According to a press release, the upgrades include a 30,000 square foot multi-story player development facility, home and away clubhouses, indoor batting cages, and so much more. The renovations come after former President Biden signed a bill naming the ballpark a commemorative site, bringing it one step closer to becoming a national landmark.
Yes, you always have to have hope. That is my name, and gotta live by it.
Researchers are working to restore a key part of the Indian River. Coming up, we're going to show you how their hope is pushing them forward. Samara.
Play it safe in the heat. Today we have heat advisories in place for all of Central Florida through 6 o'clock tonight, where we can see heat index values as high as 112 degrees. I'll break down the numbers and pinpoint those rain chances as we head into the afternoon.
Introducing the new $25 million Gold Rush Multiplier Scratch-Off from the Florida Lottery.
Oyster reefs used to take up a major portion of the Indian River, but overharvesting, pollution, and erosion have caused most of them to disappear. And now scientists are working to bring them back. Community correspondent Paul Giorgio shows us why they are so important to the river's health.
We know that oysters have been in this area and been part of the human diet in this area for over 1,000 years, which is really cool.
Hope Leonard has her eyes on the past.
They're amazing creatures.
But her focus is on the future.
You know, every little bit helps.
She's knee-deep in the Indian River, where hope isn't just her name, it's what drives her.
Yes, you always have to have hope. That is my name, and gotta live by it.
The Conservation Restoration Coordinator with Restore Our Shores is leading a year-long survey of oyster health in the river.
72.
Oyster reefs once covered much of the Indian River Lagoon. As part of the study, Leonard and her team place clean oyster shells in the water monthly to attract oyster larvae called spat.
This was blank when we put it out, so it would look like this.
The spat settle on the shells and grow into new oysters.
And then if you look here, we have an oyster here, here, here.
Good news for a river system that's struggled with nutrient pollution and algae blooms. So why is what's happening here so important? Well, studies show one oyster, little guy like this, can filter 50 gallons of water in one day.
Which is the equivalent of us drinking a cement truck in a day and filtering the water.
Wow.
Yeah.
Leonard says it will take more than oysters to return the river to what it once was. But with a little hope, we'll get there.
I do think that being hopeful can really just help move and progress you forward with your ideas and your mentality. And I think it can help to make you more creative in looking for solutions.
Paul Giorgio, News 6.
Nature knows best. All right, taking a live look from Brevard County, the Launch Credit Union Port Cam at Port Canaveral. The lucky folks who get to hop on that Disney cruise right there. It is a scorcher. It was a scorcher this weekend that is continuing. Meteorologist Samara Kokinas is in for Candace. Heat advisory still in place, Samara?
Yeah, all the way through 6 o'clock tonight. I mean, we're talking about feels like temperatures well into the triple digits. So everybody's like, well, when you tell us that, that means this temperature. No, it's what it feels like, folks. So although temperatures will be in the mid 90s this afternoon, we'll see potential heat index values ranging from 108 to 112 degrees. That's how hot it is. I need you to pay attention to your body when you're outdoors today and really kind of just listen to your body when it says, hey, I'm tired, I need a break, I'm sweating too much. Take that break and listen to your body to prevent heat-related illness. Mountain Dora Skycam right now, absolutely beautiful out there. A few people out there walking around slowly, as you should, because that heat really builds in quickly. It's 91, feeling like 102 in Mountain Dora this afternoon. The rest of Central Florida following suit. Notice that it feels like 111 degrees in New Smyrna, while the actual temperature is 91. This is what we're talking about, folks. Back in Orlando, 91 feeling like 100. Ocala, 88, just had a little bit of rain, but still feeling steamy there at 100 degrees. This is what it feels like. Here's a better look at what we're talking about. A little bit of rain also right now across our western zones in Sumter County. I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter there. So a little bit of cloud cover in Ocala, not so much some rain just yet, but you'll see a few showers there and moving through the villages, light to moderate rain all the way through Bushnell, kind of making its way through Webster right now, kind of headed toward central and southern Lake County over the next, I would say, 20 minutes or so. You could get a few sprinkles. As we look ahead into your temperature forecast and the heat index, your heat index is in the red, temperatures are in the orange, headed up to 97 by 3 o'clock this afternoon, feeling like 106 before we drop off later on this evening. But still, it's going to take its time doing that. So here's a look at that forecast for you.
Sponsored by Strata Air Conditioning and Heating. AC emergency, you ought to call Strata.
Looking ahead, heat index values will continue to feel like 112 for at least the next day. Maybe not so high tomorrow. The rain, though, increasing rain chances as we watch also a wave in the Atlantic invest 94L. As we look at this, National Hurricane Center is still only giving it a 20% chance of taking on additional development as it moves west-northwest. So I don't think it's going to do much. But we have a lot of dry air in place, but we're going to start to see a little more moisture really start to move in. So as we walk you hour by hour, you'll notice that the forecast basically shows showers and thunderstorms through about 7 o'clock. It'll wrap up. We start the day tomorrow, possibly with a few showers across our northern zones in Marion County, and then filling in by noon. Notice the coverage of rain picks up, but look at this. As we head into tomorrow evening, it really ramps up by 6 or 7 o'clock. That's why we have your rain coverage so high. So increasing moisture with this front kind of stalling out to our north. That's exactly what we're going to be dealing with, is that deeper moisture in place, and that's why your rain chances are going to be so high. So for today, mid to upper 90s in the forecast, and as we look at this 7-day forecast, you'll notice that we stay right around 95 tomorrow with a 60% coverage of rain, 92 increasing cloud cover, and rain will keep temperatures closer to average. Notice that as we head into the rest of your work week, though, we're still pretty high until we get to the weekend where we dial back on those rain chances. So guess what that means, Justin?
I know what it already means, yes.
96 for the weekend.
Woof. All right, thank you, Samara. Well, there is a bit more sparkle coming to your next trip to the Magic Kingdom, and News 6 was there to see it over the weekend. Coming up, the new parade at the park and all the Disney favorites it includes. Well, nights at the Magic Kingdom now have a little bit more sparkle. News 6 was at the debut of Disney Starlight Dream the Night Away. It's the first regular nighttime parade at the park in almost a decade. 10 floats make up the parade with characters like Peter Pan and Wendy and Encanto's Mirabelle and Bruno. And of course, a grand finale float featuring Mickey and friends. Starlight runs twice nightly with the exception of special ticketed events. It's also, important to note, on a reverse route starting in Main Street, USA, and then ending in Frontierland to improve crowd flow. New research is recommending parents wait a little bit longer to give their kids that first smartphone, and it's all because of mental health issues. A recent study looked at nearly 2 million people from more than 160 countries, and they found smartphone use by kids under 13 had impacts on their mental health, including suicidal thoughts, poor emotional regulation, lower self-worth, and detachment from reality. The research found each year a kid has a smartphone before 13, the impacts get worse, likely due to kids accessing social media more and experiencing sleep disruption along with other factors. Researchers suggest talking to your kids and consider using parental controls if they do have an iPhone. You're watching News 6 at noon. We'll have more right after this. Central Florida is home to many roadside attractions and really good attractions as well, but they're not as old as the oldest one in the U.S. That title hails in New Jersey. Talking about this guy, that's Lucy the elephant, turning 144 years old. She is a beloved 6-story wooden and tin building located along the beach. Lucy the elephant, built in 1881, and over the years it once served as a tavern and then a summer home to a British doctor and his family. Yeah, I live in Lucy. To celebrate her 144 years, organizers threw Lucy a birthday party, had full of food, rides, and games. How about that? That is quite the roadside attraction.
Can you imagine living in something like that and being like, where do you live, Justin? Oh, I live in
Lucy.
Or
and
it's the big elephant.
The big elephant down the road.
On the beach.
It better have central AC. That's all I got to say.
I'm just saying. As we hit a high today of 97, we will have about a 40 to 50% coverage of rain. Increasing rain chances brings, your heat back down to normal, 92, right? And then as we head into the weekend, we just dial back on the rain a little bit, and then we crank up the heat again. This is summertime.
It is the summertime, although, boy, I could use some of that rain after this weekend. My yard is just fried already.
It's coming.
It's coming. We know it. Switch over to News 6 Plus in the streaming app right now, or click Orlando.com to watch News 6 Extra. Hope you have a great day.